Professor Sampson Mamphweli, Director of the Head of the Energy Secretariat at SANEDI. Professor Mamphweli, good evening to you, and thank you very much indeed for your time. So, the politicians are talking about green hydrogen. We see scientists talking about it. How does it really work? How do you end up with green hydrogen in a car or a truck or a fuel cell?
Good evening to you, Stephen, and the viewers. So this is a very good question because I just returned from Japan where I was riding on buses and cars and trains that are running on green hydrogen. So the technology has evolved to an extent that you have the energy storage part of things where you've got tanks that are made of a particular material that is able to carry or to hold the hydrogen in the car itself. So the car itself then is made, instead of having a petrol or a diesel engine, it has a fuel cell that then drives the car itself. So it has got a fuel cell and the hydrogen tank instead of a fuel tank that we know, the one for the fossil fuels that we're currently using. So that is basically what happens, and the sector is growing quite significantly. The president was correct in saying that we could create close to 400,000 jobs. We've run models on that based on the opportunities that are available both for internal consumption as well as international export market. For instance, Japan wants to import green hydrogen from countries such as South Africa. When we were there with people from Egypt and Kenya as well. They are looking in the way on the side of Africa for them to be able to get the green hydrogen. So green hydrogen itself is made out of the electrolysis mainly of water, which is basically breaking up the water into hydrogen and oxygen, but using green energy or renewable energy as the major input into the process. There are various colors of hydrogen, some of which is made out of methane reforming or natural gas with or without carbon capture, and that's when we start to classify it as either green, blue, gray, and so many other colors as well.
Okay, so I mean, there are so many different things happening in the energy sector at the moment. And in the end, what this may well come down to is the sort of network that is created. What I mean is at the moment there is a network around the country, from Three Sisters to Tshwane to Messina, of petrol stations. And they'll sell you diesel and they'll sell you petrol. Some of them will sell you gas and paraffin as well. You would need something like that for hydrogen. At the same time, of course, people who are investing in hydrogen for cars will also be facing competition from electric cars. So are we going to see a battle of networks? Will the network that wins first win?
So in terms of South Africa, we're very clear on how we approach the hydrogen sector. We have what we call the Hydrogen Society Roadmap that was approved by Cabinet sometime in 2021. That particular document basically talks to what needs to happen in the transport sector, in the electricity sector and energy sector in general. For instance, in the transport sector, we're looking at what we call the hydrogen corridor, or South Africa's hydrogen valley, where we will have trucks and cars running on hydrogen from Limpopo. We already have Anglo-American with a big truck, hauling truck that they're running using hydrogen in Limpopo as well. And then it goes to Gauteng, and then it extends to KwaZulu-Natal. So along that corridor, you will then have what we call the refueling stations and the production of green hydrogen, which will then be used to refuel the hydrogen cars and trucks and buses that will be moving alongside that corridor. We are now extending that corridor to the Eastern Cape. As things stand, through my office, the Department of Science and Innovation has funded a hydrogen strategy, the development of a hydrogen strategy for the Eastern Cape province, so that we can then link up the Eastern Cape KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng as well. Today, there was a memorandum of understanding signed between 3 provinces that are in the coastal area where we've got a lot of renewable energy as well as the water that we can use for production of the green hydrogen. Those are the Eastern Cape province, the Northern Cape province, as well as the Western Cape. So there will be quite a lot of refueling stations and a lot of hydrogen activities are along those lines. We also had a BMW coming in, signing an agreement with Sasol that will produce a green hydrogen for the BMW fleet that they are planning to bring into the country. They even have a car that's driven by hydrogen on show here at the conference, and also Anglo-American being part of that particular agreement. So there will be in the near future a lot of activities in terms of the production and use of green hydrogen. The partnerships that the minister talked about in terms of the continent, the African continent. The minister gave a very detailed presentation looking at the renewable energy resources, not only in South Africa, but in the African continent in general, and then also explaining the potential for green hydrogen that we can get from the continent as well, and that we can also export some of this hydrogen into European countries as well as the Americans, where they don't necessarily have enough land as well as enough renewable energy like we have in the African continent as well.
Professor Sampson Mamphweli, Head of the Energy Secretariat at Sanedi, really do appreciate the time. Thank you.